Take a deep breath before you see Melania Trump's husband, because he's a man who has kept the world talking for decades. Whether you admire him or criticize him, one thing is certain: he knows how to stay in the spotlight. A billionaire businessman, reality TV star, and the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump has led a life filled with power, influence, and controversy. But beyond the headlines and political debates, who is the man that Melania Trump chose as her life partner? What made him rise from a wealthy New York real estate mogul to one of the most talked about figures in modern history? There's a lot to unpack, and some details might surprise you. Born in Queens, New York in 1946, Donald Trump grew up in a family that already had a fortune in real estate. His father, Fred Trump, was a strict businessman who built affordable housing across the city. From a young age, Donald was taught that success wasn't optional, it was expected. Sent to a military academy as a teenager, he learned discipline and leadership, skills that would later shape his career. But school wasn't enough to keep his ambition in check. He set his sights on something much bigger, taking his father's real estate empire to a level no one had seen before. By the 1980s, his name was everywhere. Trump Tower stood tall in Manhattan, symbolizing wealth and success. Luxury hotels, casinos, and skyscrapers followed, each one carrying the famous gold-plated Trump logo. He lived a life most people could only dream of: private jets, extravagant parties, and a network of high-profile connections. But it wasn't just business that kept him in the headlines. His personal life was just as fascinating: 3 marriages, high-profile divorces, and relationships that always kept the media guessing. And then, in 1998, he met Melania Knaus, a Slovenian model who would later become the First Lady of the United States. Melania was different from the women he had dated before. She was elegant, reserved, and carried a quiet confidence. While Trump loved the spotlight, she preferred to stay in the background. But despite their differences, they built a relationship that lasted. When they married in 2005, the guest list was packed with celebrities, politicians, and billionaires. Even former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were there, long before they became political rivals. A year later, their son, Barron Trump, was born. Everything seemed to be going as expected until 2015, when Donald Trump announced he was running for president. Many laughed at the idea. A businessman with no political experience? Impossible. But he didn't just run. He won. His campaign was one of the most controversial in American history, shaking up the political system like never before. While many cheered for his bold promises, others were shocked by his approach. Through it all, Melania remained by his side, supporting him in her own way. But being the First Lady was never easy. Every move she made was scrutinized, from the way she dressed to the way she spoke. Some called her distant, while others admired her grace under pressure. Then came the scandals, the investigations, and the never-ending media coverage. Trump's presidency was filled with challenges, from heated political battles to 2 impeachment trials. But one of the most defining moments came in 2020, when he lost his re-election bid to Joe Biden. Many thought he would quietly step away, but stepping away was never part of his nature. Even after leaving the White House, he continued to make headlines, hinting at a possible comeback. His influence in politics remained strong, with millions of loyal supporters still believing in his vision. So what does the future hold for the man who once sat in the most powerful office in the world? Some say he's preparing for another presidential run. Others believe he'll focus on expanding his business empire once again. One thing is certain: Donald Trump is not someone who fades into the background. Love him or hate him, he has shaped history in ways few people ever have. Melania Trump's husband is more than just a politician. He's a symbol of ambition, controversy, and undeniable influence. Whether his next chapter is in politics, business, or something entirely unexpected, the world will be watching. So, what do you think? Will he return to power, or is his time in the spotlight coming to an end? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more stories that keep you thinking.